unfortunately, many black people live in an environment not conducive for a healthy mind, right? Do you believe a lot of the black on black crime that takes place is caused by unchecked mental illness?
I believe that the phrase black on black crime is a psyop. So I'll answer the question with the caveat of asking the viewers to question why have they never heard of the term white on white crime? Spanish on Spanish crime. Crime is proximity. An Asian dude that's a bad Asian dude is gonna violate some Asian people close to him. Proximity. As far as a lot of the crime that happens because of mental health issues, I think it's mental health issues. I think that there's not an accident that like, it's not fruits and vegetables in hoods across America. Last week, I was, the brother Yaqui was he came to the Solutionary Center a couple of weeks back. And then a few days ago, he was at the Met in Philly. Shouts to Yaqui and the whole Awakening team. And we talked about, I used to take these workshops with Dr. Laila Africa years ago. Rest in peace to Dr. Laila Africa.
We gotta talk about that later.
Yeah. This is a designed format to make sure that certain foods are in certain areas. If you're white and live in a low income area, your food is fucked. If you're Spanish, like it's a socio-economic thing. It's not an accident that Whole Foods is A, usually in certain areas, and B, expensive as hell. And a lot of the things in Whole Foods you don't need either. So the mentality of a person that is subjected to that science experiment, you're gonna have a different outcome. For the last week or so, I was just eating fruits and vegetables. Just because I was like, I'm just focused on fruits and vegetables. Just to put more life back into my body. And I went to go buy a watermelon.
And no seeds?
There ain't no seeds. I had to search and I bought like 3 of them. Because when I found them, I was like, oh. So this place was calling these are organic watermelons, but they didn't have seeds. So to think that one does not correlate to the other, it's called the Food and Drug Administration. Why would you ever put those two together? So to act like there's not an impact on that, and that's just one lane, that's just the food. Then you're talking about the television shows. Then you're talking about the psychology of attempt to make your life matter less through the programming. To say, it's okay to say, I'ma kill a nigga, I'ma kill a nigga, I'ma kill a nigga, all day. Only people that can't say it is white people, because it's like right? But we want you black people to say, I'ma kill a nigga, I'ma kill a nigga. That's standard. It's hypnosis. But if I made a song that said, I'ma kill a, insert whatever other slur, insert them all. I'ma kill a kike, I'ma kill a spick, I'ma kill a chink, I'ma kill a this, I'ma kill a guap, I'ma kill a, insert whatever. Kike. Then everyone attacks you. It's okay to make money off of the programming that promotes death and destruction. Meek said it a few weeks ago. He was like, on some stage, he was like, yo, they pay us more to talk about negative things. So to think that repetition, these are scientifically proven concepts. Repetition works. When you're learning something, you read it over and over again. That's how we learn our alpha, beta, kappas, right? This works to put a thing into somebody's brain. Marketing, they say you need to see something at least 9 times before it really takes. So they're gonna put it in your brain a whole bunch. So the science is already settled that this works. So these programs, along with the diet, along with telling somebody, along with the television saying, hold the gun sideways if you have this much melanin. If you're Russian or Arab, you gotta have a full auto, and you gotta have a beard, and you're the villain, and blah, 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 blah. All of this programming happens. And we think that that does not have an outcome on our daily routine. That's wild. The fact that I have to think about what propaganda has been put on this person's brain when I'm engaging them is just a counterbalance to the propaganda that's been put on their brain. So I have to think, my response to this person in the club that steps on my Yeezy slides, I know that there's a potential that this person may have been conditioned by that litany, that holistic approach to make this person a zombie. So much so that when someone says or speaks to loving themselves, we associate that with corny or lame or this or that. So much so that when someone says, I would prefer that you not call me a nigga. So much so that when I say, I'm a god, we don't ask why. We don't say, what do you mean by that? We don't go to the Bible that they say they study, and Jesus said, do you not know that ye are gods? We don't factor in none of that. We just go, we've been told it's okay for me to call you my dog. It's okay to call you a lower being. It's not okay to say I see the God in you. If we think that that's not impacting, we're going to ignore all of the science that's been settled. And we think that that doesn't have a political, spiritual, economic, moral, and potentially violent outcome. We crazy. We crazy. It 100% impacts it. You know what I listen to? A lot of classical music. I love hip hop. I have a filtration system though. There's jokes where people say, yo, you be in the car listening to music on your way to work, ready to quit and sell keys. Yeah, because the music's designed to make you do that. You know what it don't say? It don't say, I want you to open up, man, I found the block. I knew a new location. I made a Bitcoin ATM, put it there, got money, passive income. We don't say that smooth. And it can be wrapped in a very smooth way, especially if you got all of the same stuff. If you got a Bentley, the big Cuban, or whatever, and now there's no risk in me going to jail for this. All of the rappers talk about guns. Why the fuck don't none of y'all got a Glock deal? I had a gun deal. I had a rifle. It was called a Solutionary rifle. We sold them. They're gone. So that's an opportunity for free market enterprise. But we haven't been conditioned to say that. Yo, I got the gun to protect my turf, protect the ATM machines, the whatever way you want to rap about it. I got the gun to protect my house from the government. Tupac shot 2 off-duty police officers that were trying to kill him. But you're only allowed to talk about things a certain way. And it impacts the outcome because the whole goal was to produce crime. Crime pays. Crime pays. When you get convinced by the government in conjunction with big media, big pharma, Food and Drug Administration, all tied in together. Again, Vivendi owns Seagram's. That's a spirits company. What's one of the biggest hits? Pastor Cavassier. Every few years, they got a new liquor for you to drink. Every few years. It went from, it used to be Nouveau, remember them pink bottles? It go all the way back to Malibu when my mom was young. You know what I'm saying? Then it fast forward all the way through there. So are we done with you, Diddy?
We got Malibu, Hypnotic, you got Patron. What were the big names? Then you had
Ciroc.
Then Bacardi, Smirnoff.
Now it's Casamigos. Seagram's. Vivendi. And you're not complaining about them. You know why? Because they're a French company and they over there in France. But you arguing about the label, not seeing that bigger picture. So it's a wonderful chess game. When are we gonna listen to people and support financially the people that's putting you onto the real game?
And the reason I brought up the mental health thing is because a lot of times we speak about crime and certain things, but until we have a healthier environment, even with the change in legislation, how can we change the behaviors of people if they're in that environment? You change
the things in the environment. That makes a change in the environment. So when I say I want a community center, I'm not just getting a gym with some laptops in it. We teach yoga. I want you to slow down and breathe. Most people don't even breathe properly. They don't breathe from their diaphragm, breathe from their chest. Most people never I'm not saying you gotta be a vegetarian. I'm gonna destroy your steak at some point this weekend. But okay, what about grass-fed beef? What about a Wagyu that's been cured properly as opposed to sprayed? And well, even all of those choices can be more healthy choices made. We working with the sister Sarah that runs Nourish. We're going to start doing some juicing options and teaching people how to make juices and what they do at the Solutionary Center. I didn't just want a basketball court. I wanted to approach this thing, your diet, what you watching, what you listening to. You know, sewing. We talk about people being conservative. As soon as your shirt get a hole in it, you just throw it away. That's not very conservative. I can just try to sew this up. And just boom, I'm gonna have it for, okay, maybe the stitch is there. Let me sew a patch of something cool. I found this patch at the thrift store. Let me put that on the hole right here on a t-shirt. Give it a whole nother life. Conserve it. You know what I mean? These are the things that we change the thought process by change. Those are conservative values. Those are liberty-based values. The more conservative way of viewing it is, we can change the world by changing ourselves, then changing our family by right knowledge and right information, right? And that holistic, whichever way that happens in all of the areas of human activity. And by changing the family, we change our neighborhood, we change our community. And that's all changed without legislation. The liberal perspective is they believe that they're changing the world for the better, but they want to use the government and the state to force people to do it. They want a top-down approach, as opposed to us in the trenches changing ourselves, changing our environment, changing the people around us. And then the politics is downstream of culture. But when you have a group of people that separate, that don't know that politics is downstream from culture, and they've been conditioned to separate their culture, their politics, and their economics, strongest communities in America, they don't have to vote as much because they can influence politics by their dollars, because they connect that triangle. They connect their politics, their economy, and their culture. So that's how you change the environment. To be a solutionary means you're going down this rabbit hole. We have a site, solutionaryuniversity.org, where we're making available high-level individuals that speak to these things, practical ways that teach you, here's this master teacher on this, finance. Not me, because I ain't got $100 million, so I'm not qualified to tell you about building an empire that way, right? But okay, we will have this brother on. We will have this brother talking about healing and the foods that can do that. We will have this person talking about special forces level protection and CQB, right? We will have this person, this woman on talking about how to curate a safe, healthy environment in your home. That Solutionary University is how we change the internal environment. And we're doing that in real time in the actual Solutionary Center in Philly. By doing it that way, I don't need to change the location. I need to change the things and mentalities that are in the environment, thus changing the environment. And so that's how we do it. And after we do this and show some consistency, then now we got a proof of concept. Now let's do one in Chicago. This approach is not just guns. It cannot be. You know what I mean? The attack on us, again, is, as Dr. Francis Cress Welsing says, is in every area of human activity. Education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, all of these different things is where the war is being waged. I want the people to just recognize that and start financially putting some money. That's a shameless plug on my part too. Putting some money behind the people, because all of the classes are free. You know, the ones online are $20 for the, specific classes. But my point is, even at $20, why wouldn't you want to spend $20 to educate yourself and your family about this tool that you just purchased that you obviously don't know anything about? It makes sense. And so we have to stop just saying things. It's like when I hear white people, racists, call black people the N-word, nigga this, nigga that, or black people calling white people cracker, that's nothing. That's name calling. Like, what? You can, like me? You can't even hurt my feelings. Like calling me a name? Oh, you called me a grifter. You called me a racist. Where you can impact me is if you could actually stop me. When we are supporting each other in the financial space with the people that have shown and proved their level of worth to do the work and serve our communities, those people are worthy of our support. And until we start doing that, whether they're a public servant, politician that's going to be in alignment with defending your individual liberties and defending that Constitution that benefits you, and telling people that would say, well, you know, they didn't mean that for the black people. Yes, they did. And even if they didn't mean it, it's for them now. When you have that type of public servant that's willing to go to bat, there's very few of them. And if we finance that public servant that's going to defend our individual rights and liberty, because that's what we send them to DC or whatever position for, then you start to make all of the other politicians, if he got $10 million in fundraising because he's an actual public servant, the other politicians will go, well, shit, maybe I should start talking that liberty shit because he got $10 million in his war chest. That's where we should be utilizing our resources to champion and support the people that are actually serving our communities. Just talking about it, just calling out racism, just saying the left is racist or the right is racist, it's all nothing. That's nothing. That's a bunch of nothing. Build something. And if you can't build something right now, give a little bit to somebody that's building something. Find somebody that's doing some community work. I don't care what their race is. If they're doing community work, more than likely that person's like, yo, the government is fucked.